All right. Hey, everybody. I know you didn't expect me to go live again today, but some movie news came up, and so I kind of wanted to do this live. Of course, we're not going to, let this thing get off the rails. But yeah, I wanted to go live to sort of, talk a little bit about this and some of the movie news that has come up today. And of course, that is the news that we will be getting an announcement in a couple of days uh, regarding the After We Collided movie, who's going to be directing the After We Collided movie. And so Anna Todd was on this podcast, who done by, let me see if I can, yes, Taylor Dukes, yes, by Jenny Gage. Yeah, Jenny Gage is gone, so we can all, kind of do backflips, scream, yell, cheer over that. Yes, Jenny Gage is gone. And so Anna Todd was on a podcast. Let me get these people's names right. By Candace King and Kayla Ewell. And so, of course, anytime that Anna Todd is anywhere, and especially if people are fans of After, people will just ask her, like, hey, do you have any movie news? Do you have anything, for us? And she said something along the lines of that we are green light, which we already knew. And so what happened is that they were talking a little bit, and the conversation, moved toward, Anna Todd saying, hey, oh, by the way, we have a director for this, and we will be announcing them in a couple of days. Now, a lot of people kind of zeroed in on that them response, like, oh, does this mean that we're getting two directors? I wouldn't be surprised if we do, but I'm hoping that we just stick with one. I'm fine if we get two directors, but as long as they can have like one coherent voice, as long as they can have one coherent message or one coherent theme that they want to do, am I okay with two directors? Because sometimes when we get two directors, unless they are siblings or they know each other pretty well, um, they they don't really seem to mesh well. I mean, sometimes you can feel like there are about 50 million voices, attached to this thing. You can feel like, there are different, sides trying to fight for it, which sort of happened in whatchamacallit, in Men in Black International this weekend. There's actually a article up on the Hollywood Reporter right now talking about, how bad, Men in Black International did behind the scenes. But yeah, she said that we were going to get this in a couple of days, so I didn't really want to make this. The thing with the Avengers is, and that's where it works, because they are siblings. They're not just like two separate people. They are siblings. That's why I think the Coen brothers work. That's why I think that the Russo brothers worked as well as they did. The problem with Jenny Gage, from what I could gather, when you look at like the articles and everything written about this thing, was that she didn't really want to come on board. That once she came on board with the film, that's when everything seemed to go off the rails. That's when everything started to, go away from the book. That there were always going to be changes, but when she came on, that's when we got the film that we got. That's when we kind of moved over toward the film that we got and got farther and farther away from the book. That even there was like this big article that I did read you guys on one of the videos that I did a little ways back, where one of the lines that always stuck out to me in that particular article is that when they talked about Hardin's personality, when they talked about the change to Hardin's personality, that they said that the article said that Anna Todd she did take a lot out, that Anna Todd did not want the change in Hardin's personality. Josephine Langford did not want the change in Hardin's personality. Hero Finds Tiffin did not want the change in Hardin's personality, but they were all overruled by Jenny Gage. And it seems like a lot of the problems really did kind of, come from Jenny Gage. When you kind of go back and look at like a lot of the issues that happened with the film, because again, I think that the buck stops with the director. That even if you have different voices, different producers, I think he will. I think it remains to be seen if they can actually switch over to that personality. Because again, with the first film, and this is where I wanted an extended cut, so they could go ahead and start planting the seeds of that Hardin's personality, so they could start planting that framework to all of a sudden switching Hardin's personality. But it remains to be seen if they can actually make that work. Because even the 50 Shades films, which I did the live stream earlier today for the first 50 Shades film, or for the third 50 Shades film, the first film, it was another case like After, where they toned him down, but when you kind of got over to the second and third films, they kind of went back more toward his personality. But the difference is that the first 50 Shades, they still had stuff in there where it doesn't seem like that much of a tectonic shift, whereas they did way too much way too opposite of a direction with Hardin in the first movie, that they're going to have a little bit harder of a time switching back to his normal personality and making that work. So as much as I'm happy that we are going to start filming, or that they are going to start filming, sometime in September, that we are getting the film sometime next year, I hope that they really are taking that time to really sit down and think about, and really like put together the script. I hope that they're not just rushing this thing just to go ahead and get it out, because I would rather wait another year, or like wait until like 2021 for this thing to come out and get this right, rather than have them rush through this and once again give me an inferior product. And that's kind of like where I am right now, is that I'm really just like kind of like waiting to see what does that first footage look like. And that's one of the things that I love about Anna Todd and everybody involved in this, is that it seems like they know where the issues are. It seems like they understand where they went wrong with the first film. But I think that, and this is where I think that the fans really need to give this thing a shot, and where they really need to, sort of, be very accepting of the movie, and like just give it a shot. Or just don't turn off to it just yet, just because of the first movie, because that's the difference between After and everything else. Because everything else I have seen time and time again, where even if the first film is hated, they double down, they triple down, they quadruple down on everything that people hated just because it made money. But whereas with After, it seems like they are taking logical steps. It seems like they're actually taking the time and energy to say, okay, we know where this went wrong. We know where you guys hated this. So we're going to try to, fix this material. We're going to try to, put this back to a place where we can make you guys happy. Because again, without you fans, then we would not even be here. And that's just at least now, just such a rarity in Hollywood to actually see, people actually care that much about the fans, to where they're actually willing to admit, hey, we screwed up here, so we're going to fix this in the sequel. But now the bigger question will become, can they fix it to a point with her being more involved? And I think that that's one of the problems that I had with all the information coming out about the first one, is because before the fans got to see it, there was a lot of information coming out by Anna Todd saying like, oh, how involved she was rehearsing with the actors, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, once the film came out and the fans started to see it, that's when this sort of narrative started to be like, oh my God, Anna Todd was not involved in it. How could you not involve Anna Todd? When it really did seem like, for the most part, that she really was involved with the first film. And they only seem to, switch over to the narrative of like, oh, she didn't have anything to do with this, or, oh, she wasn't really that involved, once the second film, or once, the first film finally came out and fans were able to take a look at it. But yeah, she is really involved this time. And again, I even said this during the 50 Shades streaming earlier, that I love Anna Todd, because again, like, even she just seems very self-aware of, even like if she messed up something in the book, or if she, did not like something that she did in the book, then she's willing to say, oh, I regret this element of the book. Which one thing that she brings up, I'm guessing that the people who are watching this, know the movie, or know the movies, or know the books. the sheets, the bloody sheets from the first book. That's one of the things that she said in an interview. They're like, "Oh, I always cringe when I, when I think about the sheets. Oh, that's like something I regret that I ever did," which is why she said that. Oh, the bet never would have been as is in the movie. And so that's the difference that I think between E.L. James and Anna Todd, is that whereas Anna Todd is willing to kind of have like that come to Jesus moment where she kind of looks inside of herself and says like, okay, I regret X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to fix this. E.L. James just like doubles down, triples down, quadruples down. And I think that that's what we saw with the 50 Shades films. And I kind of even commented it on the live stream, is that you saw these scenes in there where it's like you have no self-awareness of what you are writing. You have no self-awareness of what this looks like or how this reads. And so you're kind of leaning more toward, you're kind of, giving people ammunition in terms of the controversy. You're kind of, kind of just what word am I looking for here? You're kind of just, you're just, and yeah, I am looking. I am wondering how the script went. But they also have another script writer, Mario Celia, I think his name is. He doesn't really have any other credits to his name. I think he just has like one tiny thing. But yeah, I think he was probably just there, probably just to help her know how to write a script, like just to kind of put it, more toward. Like structuring and everything. I mean, I'm sure that that's what his job was, considering like how much she really does seem to be taking credit for this script. But that's also another thing that I was not a huge fan of in the first film, is that they not only screwed Hardin's personality, but they also took out the majority of the fights. And if anybody has watched my read-throughs, I have blown out my voice more than a few times doing reading the book. I have done that more than a few times because they do fight a lot, and they kind of really did take that out. So not only do they have to refix Hardin's personality, but they also have to, kind of bring it back to where, like, oh my God, are they all of a sudden going to, go back to the book? Because again, I think that that's the problem that I have with After We Collided the movie, is that they backed themselves into such a corner with this first movie that now, exactly, and that's my problem, is that they just backed that they just put themselves into such a corner with the first film that the second film now has more work to do than ever before, due to the fact that it's just like how much of a corner they put themselves in with the first film. Because not only did they screw with Hardin's personality, they completely took out the fighting between Tessa and Hardin. They took out all the cursing. They did not really even do, even like a setup for the Tessa Zed Hardin a triangle. They did not do anything to set that up, which again, an extended cut could have fixed all of this, because the majority of us could actually be willing to accept, or at least I would be willing to accept, if they came out and said, forget the first film. Yeah, Jenny should feel ashamed. But again, I think like somebody even kind of made this point really great, is that at some point, and I think I probably even made this point too, we need to stop blaming Jenny Gage for everything that went wrong with this film, because their first time, I'm trying to remember what, but see the problem is that that deleted scene was not even released in a movie context. It was released at the end of the Bitter Love music video. So the majority of people would not even know that deleted scene has been released. Whereas if they put out an extended cut, then they could have, come out and say, okay, forget the theatrical cut. The extended cut is canon. The extended cut is The extended cut, I'm sorry, the screen just flat for some reason. The extended cut is what you guys need to be looking at. And so the extended cut could have fixed a lot of the problems, but, and I kind of want to even say this now so I don't have to make another video talking about this, because there was a movie that came out a couple of years ago called Justice League. And on the internet, there's been a lot of talk about a release the Snyder cut, release the actual Snyder cut. And the way how this ties into after, just in case y'all think I'm going off on some tangent here, is that somebody who I follow on YouTube, somebody that I watch religiously on YouTube, John Campia, he put out like this big, that's also why I'm wondering about the Canadian unrated version, which is why I pre-ordered my copy of it. But he put out like this big statement talking about the Snyder cut, saying that, do I think that a post-production, like a completely finished cut exists? A completely finished, releasable cut exists. You know, color corrected, musically scored, you know, post-production, everything done with it. And so I kind of wanted to tie that into after a little bit and pretty much say, do I think that an unfinished cut exists? Abso-freaking-lutely. Do I think that a completely finished, releasable cut is done or exists? Absolutely freaking not. I do not believe that an actual extent, like, because again, even when you look at that scene that was at the end of the Bitter Love music video, that's not acceptable for a release. You could tell that they still had a lot of stuff to do with that scene. You could tell that it still needed to be color corrected. The sound was off. You could tell that that a lot of post-production work still needed to be done on that scene. So then that's where I was kind of like tying it back into what John Campia said about the Snyder cut, is that, you know, oh, do I think that a completely, you know, ready to go, you know, releasable cut exists? No. I think that they would still have a lot of work to do. And also I'm kind of wondering how much control does Jenny Gage have? That would they need her to come back in and oversee an extended cut? I mean, finishing all the work that they would need to finish. And again, I've even said this on other videos, is that the problem that I have, because again, which is why I at first thought that, you know, something was ready to go until we, you know, got the press release for the Blu-ray, the DVD, the digital, whatever, is that Jennifer Gibgot, who is one of the producers, you know, flat out said when asked, are we getting an extended cut of After? Yes. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so that's always been my question with her, is that I've seen like a couple of times that she really does seem to be talking out of her ass. I mean, she really does seem to be answering these questions without really having that knowledge, unless, like I said, there's something coming way down the line, like more towards like when After We Collided comes out, where like even like what was this? A Star Is Born, you know, like the Blu-ray came out, you know, back in March, but then an extended cut, I think they called the Encore Edition, just came out, I think last week or the week before. So I'm kind of wondering if there's a double dip coming at some point. But again, I mean, I think Taylor, you said it, that, you know, I'm wondering about the Canadian unrated which, yeah, but again, I kind of got to wonder if Jenny Gage actually has to come back in and oversee this. I mean, how much control does she have? How much, would she have to come back in? Because I'm wondering, did she get fired, or was this very much a mutual, okay, this is not for me, I need to move on, this didn't work out, you know, we're going to part as friends? That's always what I'm wondering, is that how did this split, you know, go down? Was this just basically, you know, Anna Todd and, you know, Jennifer Gibgot, you know, pretty much, you know, bum rushing, you know, the doors and saying like, you're out, get the fuck out, pack up your desk, you know, you're gone? or was this, very much a, a come to, very much like an amicable, split? Because according to somebody, and I even said this on another video talking about the news here, that even Meadow Williams and Swen Temmel might be gone. So it just looks like they cleaned house here. It looks like they kind of cleaned house. So I'm kind of also wondering, like who is going to play Jace if Swen Temmel is gone? Because I know that I don't think he has like that big of a role, but I know he does still have parts in the sequel. I remember reading Jace parts in the sequel. Also, another cast member that is sort of up in the air is Selma Blair. Selma Blair is a little bit up in the air. But that's health wise. I mean, that's not because she didn't have a great experience on the first one. That's just health wise, and I hope that Selma Blair is healthy enough to come back, because I think that I would love to see especially this one scene that was in the book. I would love to see Selma Blair come back. But unfortunately, she is having some health issues. I hope she's doing okay, though. And there was this, I think, this one video that I think was posted on Instagram where she let her son shave her head or cut her hair. So yeah, I'm kind of wondering, okay, are they going to put her in a wig, or is that just pretty much our answer of, oh, by the way, Selma Blair is not going to come back, period? And see, that one I could understand, because again, I mean that's health reasons, that's so yeah, I mean I hope that Selma Blair is doing okay. I hope that she's well. I hope all is well with her. I've already made enough videos, and I'll probably even say a few more things during the live stream that I'll actually have the scenes in front of me. Okay, yeah, she does have her, which I think that's true for anybody who does have an illness, is that they have their good days and their bad days, and I just yeah, my heart goes out to her and her family. If she can make it back, great. If not, my heart goes out to her, and I'll just be waiting, at the edge of my seat, wondering, who will play Carol, who will play Tessa's mom in the sequel. But yeah, I've made some videos talking about my feelings toward Temmel and Meadow Williams. So yeah, I'm not going to take credit for that, because I guess that somebody else agreed with me. But I was looking on somewhere, and because I know I have said a few things about Netflix and Cannes, and if they went to Netflix, or if they went to Cannes, then that means like, Netflix is out of the running. But apparently somebody said that that just covers the bad blood between Netflix and Cannes just covers the festival. It doesn't cover, Netflix can still come over and buy stuff. So I'm pretty sure that Netflix is not out of the running. Like I said in another video, I think that Styx is probably our best bet. Because again, I really do want to see this on the big screen. I don't want to see this thing on Netflix. And I know like somebody did say that okay, so Taylor, are you talking about Swen Temmel? I'm guessing if you said he, I'm guessing that's about Swen Temmel. Or yeah, you'll answer in a second. But which okay, like yeah, as long as he just comes back as an actor, that's fine. I don't think I had a problem with him as an actor. I had a problem with his scenes. Some of them looking like point blank. He's a producer. I've said this. He's a producer. He's a producer. This is only in here because he's a producer, and that's how some of his scenes felt. And I'll even point them out when I do the live stream of the specific scenes that I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, if they just come back as Swen Temmel and Meadow Williams, if they just come back as actors, I am completely fine. Well, Well, Netflix is handling some international things with the first one because I know that over in the UK when it comes out in the UK, I think it's in July. I want to say July, but yeah, Netflix is handling the UK release. So yeah, I mean Netflix can still handle the international distribution. I mean, some international releases. But because and again, I will continue to bring you guys news about this. But I'm more concerned with the domestic distribution more than the international distribution, even though I will continue to bring you guys all the latest news on it. Uh, because the domestic distribution is the one that actually affects me. The domestic distribution is the one who actually, would decide whether or not I could actually go into a theater and see it. And the good news is that I don't think a big movie is coming out next year. In terms of the Avengers, I mean, I know big movies are coming out next year, but in terms of, like the big movie, which is where I think After got affected, that it would have been in theaters a little bit while longer had Avengers not come around and done what it did. That there is no big movies, like that big of a movie that this thing comes out and all of a sudden you got to take away every single film that is in theaters at that point, or the majority of films that are in theaters. Um, the only thing that I have an issue with Netflix is that while yes they do put films in theaters, and there's that flash again, but yes they do put it in theaters, but the problem is only a handful of theaters, and it's not everywhere. So so for me personally, I would never be able to go to a theater and see it. I would have to see it here on my computer. uh, It all depends. I mean, because big movies are still being released, but nothing as big as the Avengers. That was my point. That nothing as monstrous as the Avengers is coming out as of right now. Unless I'm missing something, unless something just explodes. Yeah, nothing on the Avengers level is coming out next year. So there should not be like a mass execution of every of chunks of movies that were out at the time. There should not be another incident like that. But again, look at Disney. I mean their gamble. I mean the theaters gamble on that paid off because they had the highest opening of all time at $357 million. So it kind of, if the Avengers came out and didn't do that kind of money, then some studios would not be so happy with the movie theaters. I'm sure they're not anyway, uh, but then the theaters would not have a leg to stand on in terms of doing what they did. Um, but yeah, big movies will still come, just like nothing on that level to where you'll just see like a mass you know uh dusting of like pretty much like half the films that are in theaters at that moment. uh yeah, I wish more people were in here because I was going to ask, at some point I was planning on doing a live stream talking about like the spoiler talk of Aladdin. Is that something that you guys might be interested in? Because that's what I was planning on doing at some point, doing like a big live stream, doing like a spoiler discussion on the Aladdin remake. Because, like I've said in other videos, that's really one of the ones. And if you told me at the beginning of the year that I would see the Aladdin remake, 15, 16 times, and it's slowly about to, beat my record of the most times I've seen a film in the theaters, that I would be doing like a spoiler discussion on this thing. I would tell you that you're out of your mind, but here we are. Hold on. To go back to your comment, Taylor. What do you mean by even though Hellboy boxed it beat after? What do you mean there? I know a film called Hellboy came out, but what do you mean by that? Even though Hellboy boxed it beat after? Because I can go on and on about how shitty Hellboy was. That that I mean that's just a fact. I mean I hated Hellboy. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Hellboy bombed. Yeah, Hellboy bombed. But when you say it beat after, do you mean like a for like like in terms of? Okay. Well, the big thing is because Hellboy had a marketing budget behind it. Hellboy had a major studio behind it. They put a lot of marketing into Hellboy, and Hellboy is like a big property that has that name recognition. That I've even said this in other videos that Deadline Hollywood or Deadline.com even said, "Oh, if Avrion Pictures had just put a little effort, just a little effort into putting like some TV spots in for After, or actually putting some marketing behind After, oh, it could have hit double digits with ease." And so yeah, I mean. But out of the two movies, I mean, Hellboy bombed, but I mean, out of the two movies, After is the one who is getting a sequel, while Hellboy is just getting, article after article being written where people are just, slinging mud at each other, pretty much doing the whole, yeah, don't blame me for this shit. Whereas After doesn't really seem to be getting those types of articles. So yeah, I mean, After Naders can actually take some solace in that even though After you know even though Hellboy beat After, it's still, I mean, Hellboy's a bomb, whereas After is one of the biggest independent movies of the year, and that's the big difference. I mean, that's the big thing between the two movies is that you can say like, oh, Hellboy made more money, but Hellboy had a bigger budget. So once you have a bigger budget, that means that you have to make a certain amount of money. Which kind of to kind of go back, kind of talking about Aladdin for a second. That's why, I mean, even though I do think that it's a monstrous hit, it still has that kind of budget where it's like, no, you have to be making this kind of money. And I wasn't even sure. Yeah, Hellboy's not getting a sequel. Yeah, it won't. It bombed. Hellboy was a bomb. I wouldn't expect Hellboy to get a sequel. But yeah, I mean, just sometimes you got to look at the budget. I mean, so yeah, I mean, so that's just like a lot of the times is just you just got to look at the budget. That's why oh, Hellboy makes more money than After, but is considered a bomb. But After makes less money and is considered again one of the biggest independent movies of the year and getting a sequel. But yeah, I can. I mean, but I think on a level, I think that After is a much better movie. I mean, the fact that I could actually sit through After and not walk out, yeah, like After is the better movie, even though Hellboy had the bigger budget. Because just because you have a bigger budget, it doesn't mean that you're going to be a great movie. I mean, some of my favorite films are the independent films. Some of my favorite films are, the more tinier films that very few people end up seeing. So yeah, just because a film makes more money doesn't necessarily make it a hit. Does not necessarily make it a good movie. And I think it kind of goes to just show how much I like After. Is I can actually sit here and for 35 minutes here, talk about After. Uh, Versus, like I would not want to talk about, Hellboy ever again, and it will probably end up on my worst. Actually, no, I've already said it that Hellboy will end up on my worst of the year list at some point. I think it will be fighting for number one unless I do a couple of ties here. They do and they don't. They do based on the budgets. Again, with indie films, they have tinier budgets, so they don't have to make these blockbuster numbers. Um, but yeah, I mean that's where I've always said, like if any of the fans of After say like, oh, we need to explode the budget on the sequel. Oh, we need to do like a much bigger budget. Like, no, a bigger budget does not mean that it will be a great movie. Because I've seen, $200-300 million films, be complete disasters. I mean, one of my worst films of all time is a film that came out called The Lone Ranger, and that had a monstrous budget of 250 million dollars, and I couldn't stand it, other than a couple of scenes here and there. So yeah, I mean, just because you have put more money behind something doesn't mean it will be a better movie. And also, given how much money After made, I don't want to see them balloon the budget because I don't want to have to be sitting here in a year and or like either here on a live stream or just talking to my camera, posting a video saying like, oh, we're not going to get a sequel because of the money, because of the box office. Or because like, oh yeah, it made a lot of money, but it was still, cost a lot of money. The Lone Ranger, yeah, Disney did do. Are you saying that yeah, Taylor, to answer your question, yeah, Disney did do The Lone Ranger. Given some of the content in that movie, it was actually surprising that Disney did that movie, and I can understand why it bombed at the box office. But Myri, are you saying sorry for that your internet messed up back during my live stream earlier, the 50 Shades live stream? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine. Like I said, the live streams will be up on the channel until the end of time. So yeah, that's still there. Uh, yeah, I mean, just in case any of y'all were like scratching your heads wondering about that feedback video that I posted. Yeah, no, I was just trying to figure out, why only one person seemed to be there, at the very end. Pretty much there from beginning to end. I was just trying to figure out, oh, did I do something stupid? Did I say something stupid? Just trying to, get some feedback from you guys. But yeah, Taylor, Disney did do the Lone Ranger. And I know I'm about to go off like on a tangent about the Lone Ranger here, but I kind of, kind of set myself up for this. Uh, Given the amount of money that they put into the Lone Ranger, and again, that's another film that just had this production hell, behind the scenes, to the point that it even got shut down at one point. The production got shut down because the budget ballooned, because the budget exploded and went way over budget, which is when they should have just said, hey, we'll take our losses. we'll tap out. We'll say, fuck it, and let's just cut our losses. We'll take the loss. But no, they actually went back. They tried to lower the budget, or they tried to make some cuts here and there to lower the budget. But well, guess what happened? They went back into production. They went back into production on the Lone Ranger, and well, guess what happened? The budget again ballooned up. And so when I finally saw the film, I saw the film with my dad when it opened in theaters back in 2013, 2013, I think it was. And he was the one who kept saying, put the Lone Ranger title on the film, people will come. And I kept saying, no, the Lone Ranger is not a popular property. It's not a popular property. This thing's going to bomb. This thing's going to fail. No, there's no way that this thing succeeds. So I'm sitting there, and before the film even comes out, they release the junior novelization that even then I'm reading this thing and going, this is not for kids. Like, there is no part of this thing that's at all for children. And again, this is supposed to be like Disney's big blockbuster movie. This is supposed to be their big summer movie. And so I'm kind of reading and I'm like, there's nothing in here for kids. Like there's moments in here that it can't be for kids. And I'm saying this as the junior novelization. Not like I'm reading like the adult, novelization of this thing. No, I'm reading the kids' version of the novelization, and I can still tell that it's not going to be for kids. So we get in there, and again, like everything that I read in the novel, I was right. Like everything I read in the novel, it ends up being in the movie. Like every part of it ends up being in the movie. And so throughout the film, I'm just sitting there saying like, oh, kids are going to hate this. Like kids are going to hate this. Kids are going to hate this. And so when me and my dad get out, it is storming like crazy. I mean, it was like, the rain was just coming down. It was thundering. It was lightning. And, yeah. And so, yeah, so me and my dad are pretty much standing there, like under the little, like right where you'll get the tickets, but it's like a big space. So we're pretty much like standing under this, like right around that area. And we're just shit talking the movie. Like we're just saying like how bad it is. And so this woman who works at the theater pretty much comes out and gives us an umbrella and says, go. Like pretty much like the implication is, get the fuck out. And so I'm just sitting there like, well, I kind of even like point to the weather and like, there's no freaking way that we're going out there in that. And so she pretty much like shoves the umbrella to us. It's just, and the implication is go, leave, go away. Yeah, as if me and my dad, again, given how much it bombed, apparently me and my dad really affected some, or, like would have really affected some people. But yeah, we were just shit talking the movie after it. And he probably would have been the one to go see After with me. Just kind of, go back to After a little, go back to After here. I'm sorry I got off on that tangent. But he would have gone to go see After with me. He went to go see 50. He went to go see the first 50 Shades with me. Unfortunately, by the time the next two came out, by the time the second one came out, he was too sick to go, or he stopped going to the movies. And then by the time the third one came out, that was pretty much the final few months of his life. So he, if I'm not mistaken, wait a minute. Freed came out in 2018, right? Unless I'm completely getting those dates mixed up. Freed came out in 2018, right? Because it was Gray in 15. They skipped 16, Darker in 17, and Freed in 18. Unless I'm completely getting those dates wrong. But anyway, he wouldn't have been able to go see Freed with me because that was pretty much the final couple months of his life. But yeah, no, he would have gone to if he could still go to the movies, or if he was still alive now, he would have gone to go see After with me. I don't know how he would have responded to it. It's okay. Oh yeah, no, that wasn't me trying to get sympathy from anybody. That wasn't me trying to go, oh poor me. That wasn't what I was trying to do. And I was just saying that, like, oh no, he would have gone to go see After with me, and I think he would have liked it. I think he would have liked it fine. He was fine with 50 Shades. I don't think I can't see a reason why he wouldn't be fine with After. He would probably say that I mean, it would probably just be one of those that he's like, well, that's okay. Like it's okay. Like he wouldn't, and me and him probably would have had countless discussions about it, talking about how wrong the critics are, like how far how far gone the critics are in terms of this thing. Because again, I do think that the critics really were out of line in a lot of the stuff that they said in terms of some of the reviews that I read. I think that they were really out of line because again, you can dislike the film. Question: do I think they should do book signings for AWC? You mean like they did for After? Like you mean like the cast going around and doing signings? I'm sure they will. I can bet all the money in the world that they will. Uh, do I think they should? Yeah. Did I like Divergent? Ooh, that's a loaded question. I like the first one. I like the first one just fine. I actually really like the first one. If you're talking about the movies, because I never read the books, I like the first one just fine. I actually really like the first one. The sequel was the one where it started to go off the rails for me, and was the lesser of the two. And then the third one came out, and well, we all know how that ended. So yeah, if you're talking about the yeah, I know you said yes, so I'm guessing that the yeah, but yeah. So yeah, I like the first Divergent movie. The second movie is where they started to go off the rails. The third film, well, we all know how that one turned out. And again, I was actually pretty surprised by what happened with the third one. I was actually pretty surprised that they never finished it. Or actually, let me put it like this. Again, my dad was my movie going buddy, so we went to go see the first one. People were in there. It was actually more people than I thought it was going to be, because again, I never read the book, so I didn't know how big this thing was. And so the first one comes out, it makes the kind of money it did. And again, this is where the studio went wrong, and this is where I'm going to go back and talk about budgets here. Is that when they did the second film, is when they ballooned this budget, when they, kind of went way too far gone and, just ballooned the budget. So that the problem is that when you balloon the budget, you have to make more money than the preceding movie. Because now you have a higher bar to hit in terms of the money. So with Divergent, they ballooned the budget, but I think the second one, kind of made a little bit more than the first one, but not so much to actually justify that ballooning of the budget. And then the third one came in, and they made the absolute horrendous mistake of separating this film into two parts. Because from what I read after the fact, that fans hated the third book. Fans hated the third Divergent book, from what I remember reading online. And so that was their big mistake when they actually decided to split the final film into two parts. Or not only was that their first big mistake, but also the second big mistake that they made was not shooting them back to back. And not already having something in the can that even if the third one came out and was a complete disaster like it was, they could still say, well, we have to release this thing. Well, we still have something here. I mean, we got to put this thing out there. But now they were kind of backed into, again, they kind of got put into this big corner of, well, the third one came out. It was a complete disaster. It did not make money. And so now, well, of course, we're not going to finish this off. So the third one ended in this huge cliffhanger, setting up for the part two that never came. And I knew we were in trouble, and I think I even said this in another video. I knew we were in trouble when me and my dad went to go see the third one, and we were like in the biggest auditorium in the theater, and it was only me, him, and about three other people. And I knew we were in trouble at that moment. I knew what was coming. And I was just sitting there dreading what was coming. Because like throughout the film I could actually feel that, okay, this is not working, something's gone wrong here. But as they were getting towards the end and I saw that part 2 coming, I saw that cliffhanger coming, I was like, oh no. Because I didn't hear anything about them shooting the 2 films back to back, so I was like, oh no, like, oh no, this thing's gonna go, oh no, please don't do the cliffhanger, please don't, oh no. And so yeah, we just kind of looked at each other like, yeah, they're not going to do a part 4. Yeah, they're not going to do another one. Uh, so yeah, again, I'm sorry to go off on that tangent about Divergent, which is probably more than you wanted to know. You probably just wanted the simple answer of, oh, did you like Divergent? Yes or no. But yeah, uh, did y'all know that they're doing a prequel to the Hunger Games? In terms of, I mean, just kind of talking about YA stuff here a little bit. Did y'all know that they're doing like a prequel to the Hunger Games? Yeah, they're doing a prequel to the Hunger Games. Yeah, the book should be released sometime in 2020. Do I have any? Yeah, sometime in 2020. Just to kind of finish this Hunger Game thing for a second. Yeah, sometime in 2020. I think it's like May of 2020. They're doing that Suzanne Collins is going to release a prequel book, and Lionsgate is already talking about or already getting the rights to it. So we should be expecting a film in a couple of years, I'm guessing. Why? Okay, to answer this question, why some locations only played after for 2 weeks? Avengers Endgame. I'm gonna keep saying it. Avengers Endgame. If Avengers Endgame did not come out and pretty much take over the theaters and stretch this thing out and put like all these show times, after would have been here for a couple of weeks. Uh, yeah, for more than a couple of weeks. Like after would have been here for at least another week or two. Would have been in theaters for at least another week or two. But Avengers came in and just completely, I mean, just completely, to kind of use an Avengers reference, pretty much came in and dusted about half of them. Um, okay, Myri, to answer your question, okay, do I have any predictions for the director for and are you talking about after? Do I have any predictions for like who the director is? Oh, AWC. Okay. Um, not really. Like I've said in other videos, and this doesn't mean that a guy cannot direct it, but I really do want to see a female director, and that's just my personal preference. I really do want to see a woman continue with the After series. I don't want this to become another statistic where a woman comes in, directs the first film, it does whatever it does, a successful first film, or in terms of the box office, successful first film, and then they kind of get kicked off for the sequel. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that a guy can't do it, but I would prefer if a woman did. Yeah, I don't really have any predictions on who it's going to be. I am very interested in knowing who it's going to be, though. Uh, yeah, Avengers stole the yeah, caveman. Avengers stole the spotlight. Yeah, that's basically it. Because even my theater admitted to me like, oh yeah, no, After would have been here for at least another week had Avengers not come in and done what it did. Because like I said, and again, I don't know how much public knowledge this is because I've gotten pretty close with some of the people who work at my theaters, so they're willing to say some shit to me that probably not a lot of people not they wouldn't say to like other people. But no, they pretty much said that Disney sent an email. Okay, I have seen people to kind of go ahead and answer this, Myri. I have seen like a few people saying that they really want Joseph Morgan for Vance. It's between either Joseph Morgan or what's his name? What's his name? The guy that I talked about a couple of weeks ago. The guy from How to Get Away with Murder. The guy who plays Frank on How to Get Away with Murder. I'm not going to exit out of this thing, but I kind of want to get this guy's name right. So give me a second here. Because Anna Todd actually did take a picture with the guy from How to Get Away with Murder, and kind of like a lot of people were saying, like, "Oh, this is probably going to be Vance or something." I just really want to get this guy's name right. Charlie Weber. Yeah, Charlie Weber is his name. Who plays Frank on How to Get Away with Murder? Yeah, I saw his picture pop up with Anna Todd a couple of weeks ago. But that can be Max. Are you talking about Max Martini? Because Max Martini is a name that I've also seen thrown around for roles of and after. And somebody even screenshotted something for that. And oh, okay. I really do. I mean, I'm fine with whoever they get. I really do love Joseph Morgan as an actor. I loved him in the originals. I loved him in the Vampire Diaries. I just want an excuse to see more of Joseph Morgan in anything, really. But yeah, I am curious about Vance. I am curious about her coworker, who is the other English guy. Remind me again, who is that? I know you said Max, but like, what? Who is the other English guy? Because I don't remember somebody named Max off the top of my head. The one that has a, was that in After We Collided? Because for the life of me, I'm not remembering. I'm not remembering the one that has a, the father of Lily. Okay, for the life, I did the read-throughs. Is this it After We Collided? Because now I'm really tempted to go back and reread this. Because who? Like, I really am tempted to go back and reread. Because like, is this an After We Collided? It's an After We Fell. Really? After We Fell, y'all. I'm working through After We Fell right now. I haven't read these books anywhere past what I've done in my read-throughs. So yeah, like I would not know. I would not know anything. I mean, anything where past where I am in my read-throughs, like I would not know anything about that. So yeah, like one of the things, another thing that I'm kind of, because I mean, for Charlie, I would prefer Joseph Morgan for Vance and Charlie Weber for Tessa's dad. Because I've also seen his name get thrown around for Tessa's dad. When I just think about like the casting, because again, I'm terrible at casting. But yeah, yeah, my vote for Vance is Joseph Morgan. for completely selfish reasons because I just want to see Joseph Morgan be in more things. Uh, but yeah, Charlie Weber, I just also because again, I just really like him in How to Get Away with Murder, and I would just again like to see him in more things. Can I just go ahead and point out that we've been going for an hour, and for the most part, we've actually stuck on topic. Like for the most part, we've actually kept this thing kind of like in a like in one in like a very like one lane thing that we haven't. Oh crap! And okay, yeah, that's what that's what I was worried about. Yeah, we're not. I'm sorry, I love you guys, but we're not doing Anna Oop tonight. I'm too tired to do Anna Oop tonight. To go through all that stuff tonight. I am too tired to go through all that stuff again tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and take a shot in the dark. Hannah, do you and Ruby know each other? I'm just gonna go ahead and take a shot in the dark there. Myri, yeah, I kind of figured that. Myri, don't encourage them, please. One other live stream already got hijacked by this thing. No, we're not doing that again tonight. Thank you, Ruby. But yeah, I'm too tired to let this thing go off the rails again tonight. So yeah, kind of talking about the topic of this video, which was Anna Todd did say in the podcast. Yeah, maybe another time. But yeah, talking about like in some podcasts, like, oh, we'll get the names of the director in a couple of days. Yeah, I'm actually kind of interested to see who they're gonna. Thank you, Ruby. I'm glad to hear that. Again, Myri, don't encourage them, please. But yeah, I'm I'm really interested on the director here. Anna Todd did say them, and I'm wondering if that means that we're getting two directors, or if that means that we're getting one. She just doesn't want to reveal the gender just yet. Or at the end of the day, it could be a director who just doesn't subscribe to one particular gender. They that could just be their pronouns. That could just be how they go by. So that could be a. Yeah, I really do love this fandom. Yeah, I really do love this fandom, and I know I'm not a woman. I know I'm not a girl, but I really do love how much this fandom, or how much you guys have really embraced me, embraced the channel. Because when I just started reading the first book, I didn't really expect this thing to go anywhere. I didn't really expect this thing. I just really did the read throughs to sort of just light a fire under my ass, just try to get myself to read the book, and so which is true, Ruby, which is why exactly. It's just sometimes it is a little difficult to be a guy and say like, hey, you like a certain thing, especially if it's after, if it's 50 Shades, if it's Mamma Mia. You should see how many side eyes I get when I say I like these things. And that's what that's what I love about this fandom is just how accepting they are. And I mean that's what I love is just how accepting this fandom is. And every day I feel so because again when around the time that this channel started to explode and go past 100, 200, 300, 400, uh I was really giving up on the channel, to be honest with you guys, around that time. And so all of a sudden, like you guys brought me back into the light. You guys are the ones who kept this channel going. Because I mean, like every time I kept talking to somebody, they were like, "Oh, you've been doing this channel for 2 years. Oh, and you haven't even passed 100 subscribers yet. Then give up. Just walk away from it." Uh, so yeah, I mean, like that's what I love about this. I mean, that you guys really, well, gave me a new direction with this channel. I mean, you guys really, show. I mean, actually made me believe in this channel again. Exactly, and I never imagined that happening. I never did. Because like everybody was telling me, "Oh, you've been at this for 2 years and you haven't even hit 100 yet. Like not even once. Like not even hit 100 and then lose some people. No, like you haven't even hit 100 yet. Like, oh, give up." And I was basically about to do that. But this fandom has actually been very embracing. I mean, this fandom has been very, very accepting. And to kind of go back to what you were saying, a couple of lines up, Hannah. If anyone says they don't like Mamma Mia, they're lying. Yeah, I felt like that a couple of times. I felt like that a couple of times. Like, yeah, yeah, you're lying if you say you don't like Mamma Mia. Uh, but also, Mamma Mia is just another one of those where, which is why I even made a video before Aladdin came out, and even why I made videos, praising the female audience in terms of, after basically saying never underestimate the female audience. And it really went back. It really went back to Mamma Mia because Mamma Mia was the first time that I had seen a film in basically where I was like one of the only guys in the room. It was a packed room, and I was like one of the only guys in the room, and the women were dancing in the seats. They were dancing in the aisles. They were singing at the top of their lungs, even though it wasn't a sing along movie. And that's why Mamma Mia is currently one of my most times I've been to the movies. Yeah, Mamma Mia was actually the most times I've gone to the movies at 20 times, with the Aladdin remake really nipping at its heels. At about 15, I'm at about 15 or 16 here with Aladdin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But again, Mamma Mia was easier to hit, which is why the sequel did not get close to that, because it was 6 times with my dad, 6 times with my mom, 8 times by myself. I've seen more than a few films, more than 2 times, but yeah, to get to a certain level, you have to be very special. But I'll also say that what helped Mamma Mia is that what helped Mamma Mia get so high is that um, I had a lot of free tickets. I go to the movies so much that I had a lot of free tickets. So I think the only times that I paid were when I went with my mom and my dad. But when I went by myself, where they just dropped me off at the movies, um, that's when That's when I was using the free tickets. And so yeah, the free tickets help a lot. How many times do I go a week? With Aladdin, I mean, I've been pretty much going like every other day, but usually it's like uh unless I miss something or unless I just want to go see something during the week, it's usually like if it, it's usually like okay, if there's like 4 films that come out in a weekend, then for the most part I see all 4 films or whatever films I get. And I know that again, free tickets, and especially with how many times I go, the AMC Stubs A list has helped a lot in terms of money. The free tickets help. The AMC Stubs A list helps. Uh, so yeah, I mean, yeah, people have side eyed me with that. Yeah, it's like, hey man, isn't that expensive? Like, yeah, it is. But AMC Stubs A list. What's my favorite genre? I love all films. Every all films. I don't think that I hate any specific genre. Or I should make this clear: for the free tickets, it's the do I like horror? Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Horror is not my go-to film, but yeah, I'm fine with horror. I'm actually really looking forward to a film that's coming out on July 3rd called Midsomner, which you guys should expect a review for that on the channel when it comes out. Because, like I said in other videos, I'll still review all the big movies. Yeah, I'll still review like all the big movies. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Midsomner. Have you? Oh, Hereditary was one of my favorite films of 2018. Hereditary was one of my favorite films of 2018, and I totally got behind Dan Merle from Screen Junkies or now Fandom Entertainment, who pretty much Midsomner, July 3rd if you're in the US. If you're overseas, I don't know what the dates are for overseas, but July 3rd if you're in the US. Or July 2nd for the Tuesday night screening. But yeah, Midsomner is one I'm really looking forward to. Uh, Men in Black, I think I had a review for that up for all of about 5 seconds. That I did like a quick little live stream, like nobody really watched, and so I kind of took it down. Uh, do you want to hear my thoughts on Men in Black? I mean, it won't be long, but do you want to hear my thoughts on Men in Black? Okay. Yeah. For if that yep was for me, then I wasn't a fan of Men in Black. To be honest, I wasn't a fan of Men in Black International. You should say Men in Black International, not Men in Black, because then I think that you're talking about the original, which was the Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones movie. Yeah, I was not a fan of Men in Black International. And to the point that I took somebody who had never seen Chris Hemsworth or Tessa Thompson in a movie, and they could not for the life of them. Uh, they did not like their chemistry whatsoever. And I think that that film really got let down by the script, which there's like this big. They really got let down by the script in that movie. Um, Okay, yeah, I'll just let you two talk. Yeah, I don't know what pang is, so yeah, I'll just let you two talk in the chat. Uh, just to add in my thing. Yeah, I like both Hemsworth brothers. No, it's fine. It's fine as long as you guys aren't doing anything hateful. It's fine. That's what the chat is there for. I welcome and encourage all discussions as long as it's not hateful. But yeah, which is why I was kind of asking if you guys, knew each other. Or I'm just too old to not really be in tune with what new words are going around. But yeah, Shaft, I'm actually gonna have to go back and take another look at because I actually walked out of Shaft. I walked out of Shaft, so I'm gonna have to go back and take another look at that, which I probably will sometime tomorrow. Unless I decide I would rather just go see Aladdin for the umpteenth time. But yeah, I don't know how many other people are here, but or who are still here from the very beginning. Worst film I've ever seen. Ooh, woo, that's a toughie. It's still immensely rewatchable because of how bad it is. But my go-to will always be Caligula. Do not look it up. Caligula is definitely up there as like one of the worst films I've ever seen. Uh, good. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Uh, The Haunting of Sharon Tate could potentially crack. It's a don't most overrated film. Don't make me go into Don't make me go into Caligula. Don't make me go into Caligula. Because I don't know the ages of the people who are watching this. Don't make me go into Caligula. Uh, Most overrated film. I've never really actually thought about that. Avatar is pretty up there, but I think like people have come down on Avatar a little bit. I'm trying to think here because, like, again, like I've never really thought about any of this. Most overrated film. I've heard about the Human Centipede. I've never had the unfortunate pleasure of watching that movie. But I know what you're talking about when you say Human Centipede. Uh, I guess I'm going with Avatar. I mean, Avatar is really up there in terms of because like that's like the only one that I'm really thinking about off the top of my head. And unfortunately, we are getting several sequels to that, which they are currently filming right now. So that's going to be interesting to watch to see how the box office does. I was actually a fan of the first two Shreks. The first two Shreks are the first two Shreks are actually not that. Are actually still immensely watchable. Uh, yeah, I can see how you could say that Shrek is a little overrated. Are they really? Like I would think like that I know that people were obsessed with them when they were coming out, but are they really still obsessed with them? Like to the point that people even still know the name Shrek. To Oh, right, I've seen this preview countless times in the theaters for a new Dave Bautista movie that's coming out in August called My Spy, and they've made a reference to Shrek. So yeah, I guess that Shrek is still very much a thing. Maybe it's just a British thing. Like, wow. Like, I wouldn't think that Shrek still stuck around. Like, really? Okay, I'll have to look into that. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I'll have to look into that because, like, I didn't realize that it was still around. I mean, listen to the song "What the Heart." Not right now. Okay, I will after this is done. Like, yeah, like you guys are asking me. I mean, as a movie guy, like you guys are asking me questions that like I should know off the top of my head. Like most overrated, worst film. Like, yeah, like I feel like I should know that stuff off the top of my head, but I've never actually had to sit down and actually really think about that. To be honest with you, well, I'm always honest with you guys. That's why if anything that I ever say never checks out, it's not out of any malice or anything. It's not out of any like, oh, I'm intentionally, misleading you guys. Like, no, this is just what I know. So yeah, like when it comes to like After We Collide or like anything like that, like all right, night my yeah, this thing's gone on a lot longer than I intended. But again, at least like this thing has actually, stuck around. At least this thing has actually have I cried? Have I cried at a film, and what films have I cried at the most? Uh, I'm a very sensitive guy. I'll be honest with you. I'm a very sensitive guy, and yes, I have cried. Night, Myri. Uh, yeah, yeah. I'm a very sensitive person, so yeah, I have cried. I have cried in several. Titanic. Oh, I was weeping like a baby at the end of Titanic. When dog. Oh yeah, you brought that up, Hannah. Yeah. Marley and Me got me. Marley and Me got me. Uh, because I went through. Because again, that ending or the stuff that happens towards the end of the movie. Uh, it kind of brought up a lot of memories of my dog, and especially what we had to do with him. Surprisingly, a film that I cried. Thoughts on Chloe Grace Moretz? I like her as an actress just fine. I love her as an actress. But yeah, there was actually a. I said I was fine with her. I didn't say I actually really liked her. So wait, you do, Hannah? Like why? Because I know she gets hate, but I'm kind of like wondering like why. Yeah, I'm pretty much in Ruby's camp. Like I don't mind her, but like why? Like why do you hate her with a passion? She's done nothing. Yeah, while I wait for oh, nothing wrong. Yeah, I mean, not that I know of. She's always the victim, and she cries way too much. Uh, she's always the well. If that's the roles that I mean, if that's the role that she's playing, then yeah, I mean, which yeah, I mean, like if that's the role that she's playing, then of course that's the role that she's gonna play. I'm trying to remember if did she cry during the Suspiria remake? Because I'm trying to remember. I mean, again, one of my favorite films of 2018. I'm trying to remember if she actually cried in the Suspiria remake. I'm not going to say that she didn't cry in Kick Ass because I know she cried in Kick Ass. I know she cried in Kick Ass. If I and Greta and If I Stay, didn't she die in If I Stay? Like, wasn't that kind of like the whole plot point, like the whole like kicking off of the plot that she died? She stole. Okay, I just noticed this. Yeah, so I just noticed this. So she stole Brooklyn from me when I was 13, so I'm still holding that against her too. Uh, is that like an in theme between you guys? What is that? Brooklyn Beck. Oh, you mean David Beckham's kid? I see the name Beckham, and I use it. She stole him from you? Yeah, yeah. That's what I thought when I saw the name Beckham. That yeah, I was like, wait, yeah, that's David Beckham's kid. Oh, Are you kidding? Are you okay? So I have to feel like I have to ask. Were you actually dating him? So you actually were dating him, like actually real physically dating him. Oh wow. Oh, did you get to meet? Or did you get to meet David Beckham? Unless you guys are like seriously screwing with me. Man, that's like so cool. Unless you guys are just like screwing with me. Like wow, that's pretty cool. Holy shit. Again, which is not going to be fun if you guys are actually screwing with me. Ah, there it is, Ruby. That's what I was waiting for. Dated him in her own way. Okay, there it is. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I've had more than a few celebrity crushes have stolen from me too. Uh, while I have you guys here, I know I kind of said this back a little ways back, but I have to. I'm thinking about doing a live stream, talking about like a big spoiler discussion for the new Aladdin remake. Would that be something that you guys might be interested in? I'm actually surprised how well this live stream has gone. Aww. Aw, Hannah. Yeah, this has already gone on longer than I actually anticipated. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off here. I'm gonna end this thing. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much if you're actually still here at the very end. Thank you for that. Um, Remember, if you're not subscribed, to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But I can guarantee you that Hannah and Ruby are subscribed. Um, but yeah, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You'll find a whole bunch of after content on the channel. So yeah, take care, guys. Just remember the live streams are going to be on the channel until the end of time, so keep looking forward to that. The 50 Shades one is already still on the channel. So bye.